luck, Nick, but even if you're disappointed now, you must be happy with how the tournament went overall.
Yeah, obviously extremely. That one hit pretty hard. I felt like, honestly, I was the one to end the streak. I felt like I was playing well. I felt like I did everything right in the first set that I planned to do. I sat down with my coach, myself, and, I had a game plan, and everything was working. 2 points away from the first set. I don't know how he got out of that game. 5-4, 30-15, just kept replaying that point over and 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 over again. And competing, somehow snagged the second, and, a couple points in the third that just, a couple break points. One of them I couldn't do anything on, and two just missed the backhand by, 3 inches. That's all it is against Rafa all the time. So, it's too good, I guess. He played the bigger points well, and he got out of it, and that's what he does. That's what makes him great.
Nick, you're obviously, Matt Futterman from the New York Times, you're obviously an emotional player, but are you aware how close you came to hitting the ball boy with your racket after the match? And what, do you have something to say about it?
What would you like me to say about it? Obviously, was that my intention? No, because I threw the racket. Did I throw the racket anywhere near him originally? It landed a metre from my foot and skidded and nearly hit him. I'm human. Things happen like that. Obviously, it was a very misfortunate bounce. I think if I did it 1,000,000 times over, it wouldn't have gone that way. And what do you want me to say? It was 3 metres away from the kid. That's a question you're going to say after a 3-hour battle against Nadal. That's what you've come here with?
Well, I saw a kid duck.
You duck. Duck. He ducked. He ducked. He ducked. He ducked?
Yeah.
Jesus. All right. Well, if that's what you're going to come in here to come ask me, it didn't hit him. It was an accident. It most definitely wasn't like Zverev. It was a complete accident. Didn't hit him, thankfully. It wasn't my intention. So thankfully the ball kid's okay. Great question, though. Unbelievable stuff.
Great.
Congratulations, man.
Nick, you've talked about these kind of matches before against guys like Nadal in a stadium like that. Just talk about what you thought about the environment out there today.
Insane. That's what you dream about as a little kid, to play these events against Nadal, and the hype around it. I don't see any other matches getting this kind of hype. As soon as we, matched up against each other, social media is going nuts. This is going nuts. This is going nuts. And, I think I lived up to it again, the expectation. I guess episode 9, I've played him 9 times now, and it was an amazing atmosphere. I knew the crowd was obviously, every time you play against Rafa, Roger or Novak, the crowd's going to be heavily in their favour, and I know that. And I'm not asking for them to go for me. I like that kind of, I guess, the villain, underdog type, feeling. But again, it was an amazing atmosphere. I'm never going to take that for granted. And Rafa's a champion. So, I think we've got an enormous amount of respect for each other. Now at the net, we said words, and I can feel it. We respect each other, and he's a hell of a player. So.
Ben.
Nick, you talked about atmosphere. You had some issues with a few people, different times, shouting out things that were throwing you off end of the first set, especially. And you were talking to Carlos Bernardes about these things happening. I don't know if you were referring to Osaka or whatever else has been happening this week. But just what is your thought on sort of the level of decorum in the crowd and how much it can affect players during the matches and derail things at times for you? And how do you?
Well, for me, it wasn't so much similar to Osaka's situation, but I definitely do think that. I don't know, I was actually speaking to some of the physios, I'm not expecting the crowd to go for me. I know when you're playing Rafa, 99% of the crowd is going to go for these guys. And I'm not asking for the crowd to go for me or cheer my name or go nuts for me when I'm winning or losing or anything. I just want people to know that you're a spectator. You've bought tickets to come watch us play. At least don't scream out before first and second serve. That's all I'm asking for. I'm not asking. And that's both ways. And when I was in the Australian Open, before they were screaming, Liam Brody was serving, I told the champ, I was like, tell these guys to shut up. Do you know what I mean? People in the crowd screaming. And I think it's just this generation, everyone feels like their opinion is valid. When you're a spectator and you're watching professionals play tennis, you should just be quiet. Do you know what I mean? Don't tell me how to play. You could not win a single point against Rafael Nadal. Just sit on your seat and watch me play tennis. That's it, period. And they think that they have some sort of right to scream out to players like they did to Osaka the other night. It affects people. we're only human. We're not some sort of superhuman with armor who, you know, sometimes I do throw a racket and it may get close to someone. Like, I'm not perfect, but like, what I'm saying is you can't do that to people. Like, you can't scream out and aggressively scream at people from the crowd. Like, just sit and enjoy the show. Like, we're putting on, I thought it was a decent match. I thought it was a pretty high level match. And I'm just asking for a little bit of respect. Like, I'm going out there competing in the heat for 3 hours for them. Like, I came out there to play for them. Like, I just want a bit of, like, don't scream out before first and second serve. That's it.
We see a lot of it in NBA too, with like LeBron getting people out of games.
Yeah, like you see with Westbrook and
Do
stuff.
you think it's getting worse?
It is getting worse because social media, people think that they're relevant all of a sudden. Like, you're not relevant. You have a little social media account that you type to people on. You spread negativity. It's embarrassing. Like, and you can see how it affects people. It's affecting Westbrook. It affects people. It affects Osaka. It affected me for years. And it's not okay. Like, if you've got I don't know, like, it's just people just so quick to hate, and like, how can you hate on someone for just trying to be different or just going about it differently? Like, do you know what I mean? It's ridiculous. So, I don't know. I don't want to speak about it too much. Like, the match was awesome. I thought, like, obviously, heat of the moment. I was 2 points away from the first set, and I felt like if I'd won that first set, I was really playing, the way I was playing, I could have run away with it. So, obviously, I was frustrated, but, you know, it was a hell of a match.
Nick, you mentioned the exchange with Rafa at the net and the respect that's developed between you two guys. Maybe it wasn't always that way. Maybe you went after them a little bit more in years past. So is it important to you now to have that little bit different relationship?
Yeah, for sure. I think our tennis always was respected between each other. And I think when people actually get to know me, I feel like they're sort of, I guess when you see me on court compared to how I am off the court, I'm a completely different person. Like, obviously this flop here doesn't know. But, you know, like, it's just, I feel like we respect each other. Like, I think he's the greatest of all time as of now. Like, I've really, in the scheme of things, never really said anything that bad compared to if I went through my comments right now. Like, that's what I'm getting on a daily basis. I've never said anything like that to Rafael Nadal. I've had a couple comments and he's had a couple comments back, and you know, it's good for the sport, like that rivalry. Like, I'm Nick Kyrgios and I'm a rival to Rafael Nadal. How? Like, how's that possible? And I think it's exciting for the sport. Do you know what I mean? Like, that's what people should be talking about. And, you know, my career's 1/40th of what he's done. And we're rivals because of the little back and forth that was nothing. And, like, I respect the hell out of him. Bro, I was like a little kid watching these guys win Grand Slams. Like, I'm 26 years old. Like, I'm not old. Like, I looked up to all these guys growing up when I was on the fence getting my ball signed when I was 12 years old. Rafa, Federer, Novak, Tsonga, like, do you know what I mean? Like, I feel like I'm helping the sport. I'm creating more attention. And anyone that thinks that I'm bad for the sport is just an idiot. Like, they've obviously got no idea. No idea.
Yeah, just for the record, I think it's a legitimate question, but you have your opinion. So, but on a different topic, I feel like when you watch you play, everybody's different in tennis. Everybody has different approaches. You have the impression that if you could just keep your focus at times, you can make a difference against someone like Rafa. Do you think that's true, or do you not?
Have you
think?
played Rafa?
No, of course not.
So why are you asking me this?
I'm wondering whether when you in a situation where you lose
No,
your
you've
temper or
implied that I was loose mentally or something today. That's what you implied.
not loose mentally, but so you seem
But
like,
how do you know?
I don't know. That's why I'm asking you.
Well, what's your question though?
Do you think it affects the outcome of the match when you aren't in that same kind of zone where you're focused on what you're doing?
But I was focused.
Okay.
Just because I have an outburst doesn't mean I'm not focused. Like, to be honest, if I was watching a little kid play and he was getting angry that he was losing, it just shows that he cares. I'd rather someone get angry that they're losing than just cop it on the chin. Did you ever look at it from that way?
Sure.
Last two, Russell and Craig.
Nick Russell Fuller from the BBC. How much are you planning on playing over the next 2 or 3 months, especially when the tour moves on to the clay?
Well, I'm thankful for the wild card in Miami. I obviously want to continue keep this momentum going. I feel like I'm playing some pretty good tennis and I'm healthy, so I'm taking advantage of that while I can. I'm going to go to Houston and play, and then I'm going to go home, rest up, and probably just rest for the grass season. You know, I can play on clay. It's just not something that I value, and I don't have any goals to achieve anything on clay or something like that. So, and I don't really enjoy playing on it. So I'm just going to rest up and get ready for the grass. That's it.
Craig.
Nick, when you look at a result like this, and there was, as you were saying, also points here and there that could have made a difference, And obviously, I would think there's disappointment on your part that you weren't necessarily closing it out. But the way you played, what positives do you take away from what you've done this week and even this match, which was so close?
Well, I know that my level's always there. It's just, this one hurts because I know that no matches that I played before this are going to get talked about. And it's been a story in my career. And, you know, I played 3 bloody good matches. Like 3 really good matches against quality opponents that have been playing, had a pretty good year. I beat one of the guys that had like nearly 60 wins last year. And no one remember that. And everyone will just remember, oh, that time where Kyrgios lost to Rafa at Indian Wells, or the time where he threw the racket. Like, people like you spoil sport. Like, people like you. And it's like, it's not fair, but at the same time, that's just the type of personality I am to the sport. People only remember the big matches I play, and that's fine. I know that I'm staying true to myself. I know that I'm making small improvements. I feel healthy. My body feels good. And I'll just try and continue to be positive and be better, and that's it. That's all I can do. That's all I can control. That's it.
Thank you.